say after losing Mbappe to Real Madrid, but Real Madrid got worse. PSG got better. I understand that correlation is not always causation, but that's kind of what we've seen.
You mentioned the attacking players. They're the ones that get the headlines for PSG, you know, drive around the sports cars. But the engine...
Bingung-bingung nggak jelas? Enakan sebaik dulu pakai yogurt.
Enakan sebaik dulu pakai yogurt.
Ahead of Fabian Ruiz, but this three is absolutely incredible, and you wouldn't think it's not loaded with a number 6 that's 6'1" and is an incredible physically imposing player. It's Vitinha who controls the game, João Neves who controls the game. Fabian Ruiz is a terrific complementary piece in that midfield, both for Spain and for PSG. And I think we look at this midfield and we see everything in it. We see contributions in the final third with line-breaking passes. We see pressing moments that allow them to recover the ball and get after their opposition. But I think most of all, the biggest thing that this midfield does is they control the game. It's so difficult in modern football. It's so often where games are won and lost. It's not something that we talk about very much in terms of when we're after the game. We're breaking down the goals. We're breaking down the assist makers. But when you can control a game through the middle, when you come up against this PSG side, you will have moments where it's 45 seconds to a minute without the ball. Then you get it back. Then you lose it again. And it's 45 seconds to a minute without the ball. They just over and over again are controlling the tempo, controlling the rhythm, and making it impossible for you to play. I think that's what this midfield does better than any other in Europe right now. This is the best combination of three that we see. And I think, obviously, the Inter three are fantastic in their own right, but this is different level for me.
Let's talk a bit more about Ousmane Dembélé. He has been absolutely red hot in 2025 so far. We spoke to our French football correspondent, Tom Williams, and asked, is Dembélé the best player in the world right now?
Ousmane Dembélé's performances for Paris Saint-Germain this season have created a real feel-good factor in France. He burst onto the scene nearly 10 years ago as a teenage winger with Rennes and immediately became one of the most popular footballers in the country, a preposterously talented player, but also a bit of a character. Slightly scatterbrained, the famous interview where he doesn't know whether he's right-footed or left-footed. Popular with all of his teammates, particularly when he's playing with France, close friends with Kylian Mbappe. There's always been a lot of affection towards him in France. But his career has had its ups and downs. A great season at Borussia Dortmund, but he then goes on strike to fall through a move to Barcelona, which put a few noses out of joint. Really difficult first few years at Barcelona. Constantly injured, accusations about his timekeeping, his professionalism. Wins the World Cup, of course, with France in 2018, but is dropped after the first game and plays quite a peripheral role, and injuries then prevent him playing a bigger role with France over the years. I think people were happy to see him come home when he joined PSG in 2023. Decent first season, and then suddenly this season he has exploded. There's a feeling that he is finally fulfilling that potential that was first seen in his breakthrough season at Rennes. He's clearly a front runner for the Ballon d'Or, particularly if PSG win the Champions League. And I think if he were to win the Ballon d'Or, that would go down very well with French football fans.
Well, Whitty, can a footballer who doesn't know whether he's left-footed or right-footed win the Ballon d'Or? That's the big question. But the numbers he's putting up, especially this calendar year, have been absolutely unbelievable. 48 matches across the season for Dembélé, 33 goals, 12 assists, only one less goal than Rafinha, and then Lamine Yamal as well. He scored plenty more goals than that, slightly less in terms of the number of assists, 21 versus 12. I mean, clearly it depends on his performance in the final. If he puts in a match-winning performance, scores a goal, perhaps assists a goal, that will certainly forward his case to be the Ballon d'Or winner. But when you compare him against Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, some of the other great players in European football and world football, you have to make a pretty good case, don't you?
Right, as the star goal scorer in this side, he will get that level of consideration. I think there are better players. Honestly, I would pick either Neves or Vitinha in this midfield as the representative of PSG towards an individual award, understanding that you don't have the statistics to back it up. But what Dembélé did, if you measure the period in between the November international window and the March international window, 24 goals in that span of time over basically 4 months. It's absolutely ridiculous. Over the course of the whole season, he's got 33 and has added an element to the game that was always missing for him. And honestly, I am still a little bit worried about going into this final, because PSG, you go back to the way that they dominated against Liverpool in that first leg. He does eventually get the goal in the second leg, but at times they are missing chances. At times they are not putting away the chances when they are dominating in games, but has obviously gotten huge goals in this Champions League for Paris Saint-Germain. Is, I think, in some ways part of the catalyst for the turnaround of this team. You go back to the Manchester City game in the Champions League in the month of December when they moved him into the center of the forward line. I think that opened up a lot of things. And basically Luis Enrique said, yeah, you know, we've spent 150 million on Colomboani,
who's got DiMarco in his crosshairs and steps towards the edge of the 18-yard box, shuffles this back to Dembele, who finds Vitinha, holds off the challenge of Martinez, across from Neves, and PSG ticking a lot over nicely here. They started much brighter. Ruiz, Hakimi, forward into the 18-yard box. It was smothered though by DiMarco, who gets it clear, but Martinez can't beat Pacho to it in the air, and Vitinha will rather scrappily get it back to Marquinhos. Referee gives the advantage for PSG. Here's Fabian Ruiz stepping in off the right-hand side. Now with Hakimi on the right-hand side. Laid off to Neves. Vitinha. Slides it to his left, finds Mendes, forward to the edge of the box. Doué will strike. First shot on target, straight down the throat in the end. Pretty comfortable for Jan Sommer. PSG on the front foot. Bastoni under pressure. PSG really pressing high here, and DiMarco has to float that one down the touchline. Thuram will try and make the most of it. He's done really well. Used his strength against Marquinhos and finds Martinez, who stumbles as he takes it in his stride, but gets back to his feet and floats one out to this right-hand side for Dumfries. Now here's Barella, flattening to the edge of the 18-yard box, looking for Mkhitaryan. It was nodded down by João Neves, and now they'll just slide this back to Gianluigi Donnarumma, who's been a passenger so far. The Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper. Martinez thinking about the press, as that's the distribution from the goalkeeper, but Doué showed too much of it to DiMarco. Back with Inter Milan on the halfway line, Henrik Mkhitaryan. And now Bastoni on the left-hand side. Doué tried to get a toe to it. It's just squeezed down the touchline to DiMarco. Back into a central position for Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Now Sommer. PSG trying to set a frenetic pace out of possession. They're not allowing Inter Milan any time to settle on the ball here. Whereas Inter are happy to allow PSG to just play in front of them. It's when the ball is in behind that they spring into action as a defensive unit. Here's Dembele with space on the right-hand side, driving now into a central position, past Bastoni, left-footed strike. Right down the heart of the goal, and there was Jan Sommer again, who gobbles this up with ease. Wonderful season for Ousmane Dembele, 33 goals this year, 25 of them have come in this calendar year, but not too many over the... I don't think they will look at that. The VAR, of course, in operation this evening. Dennis Higler, Dutch official, watching on all the angles, desk, and the broadcasting trucks outside the Allianz Stadium tonight. On the left-hand side here, PSG will try and build again with Vitinha. And now Mendes. Vitinha up to the halfway line, Fabian Ruiz finds Kvaratskhelia. And now Mendes. Racing back to collect it, Ruiz, Vitinha. Taking a bit of time to keep the ball. As Inter Milan just sits off Vitinha here again. Left-hand side. Mendes back in field. Ruiz, Pacho. And now Marquinhos. It's Hakimi returning down the touchline. That'll slide it into the path of the Moroccan international, under pressure from Bastoni. They followed him all the way into the PSG half and will follow him all the way across field as well. He's almost doing a man-marking job on the PSG number 2, and it's well worked out there as Inter Milan Well, they've got a toe to it. They thought they won that back, but it's prodded forward to the halfway line, where here is Fabian Ruiz, slides it back to the centre circle. Vitinha in space right of centre. Fed by Neves, now Dembele on the right-hand side. Pull back to Vitinha, 30 yards from goal right of centre. Dembele now running at Dimarco, on and to his left, off Dimarco, corner kick for PSG. Well, they're targeting Federico Dimarco. The first goal, I think when he reflects on it, he'll realise that he's been sucked towards the ball. The second, there's not much he could do about it, but he's had a hand in everything so far tonight, Federico Dimarco. Mendes again to deliver. Osman Dembele is close to him if he wants to play it short. As is Çalhanoğlu. Mendes will whip it deep towards the back post where Marquinhos will rise. It's always a difficult one to control. Another goal kick, the end result. Going to the 35th minute in the Champions League final in Munich. Paris Saint-Germain dominating proceedings so far. Inter Milan have only conjured up one opportunity for PSG. Well, 7 so far, 5 of which have called the goalkeeper into action. At this juncture, Inter Milan just needs something, some kind of glimmer of hope, as that's better from Martinez to find Dimarco. Now Mkhitaryan tries to feed that across to Thuram. It's behind Thuram, but also Pacho, and will rather play on the far side for a throw-in to Paris Saint-Germain, but that's much better from Inter. Trying to exploit the space in behind Achraf Hakimi, who's pretty much playing as a forward so far. If the opening 35 minutes is anything to go by, Inter Milan aren't going to have much of the ball. They need to really make use of what they do have, as that's fizzed cross-field by Nuno Mendes all the way to Achraf Hakimi and Ousmane Dembele on the right-hand side, as PSG really taking the opportunity tonight to make their mark on this finals. Marquinhos tries to float one over the top for Kvaratskhelia, which was drifted into a central position. Too much on it though from the Brazilian. Sommer darts out to the edge of his 18-yard box and collects that for Inter Milan. He'll be back at his feet though very shortly, as Bastoni had nowhere to go. Doué will follow it. Now Pavard down the right-hand side for Dumfries. Sweeps that inside to Martinez. He'll find Thuram. Dumfries carrying on his run ahead of him as Thuram has to turn back and find Lautaro Martinez on the right-hand side. PSG getting bodies back. Inter Milan reluctant to get too many forward. Nicola Barella on the right-hand side for Milan. Nice run from Çalhanoğlu from the byline towards the near post. Thuram was there, but so was Pacho. Corner kick for Inter Milan. They're getting closer, the Italians. Çalhanoğlu. He's going to be joined by Federico Dimarco, yes, who's going to wander over and offer his left foot. Now walks away from it. Çalhanoğlu stands on up to the edge of the 6-yard box. Thuram rising. He's put it wide. It's a great opportunity for Marcus Thuram at the back post. He towers over Kvaratskhelia. Makes really good contact as well.
Place again, 30 seconds behind, but come on, he's come from last 40th place to 10th, so great job. Halfway through, 15 minutes down, 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes, you can make a quick
opportunity though for both managers to try and get across a couple of tactical pointers, a couple of notes. Maybe for Simone Inzaghi, a couple of, shall we say, constructive criticisms to his team. One last assault in the last 8 minutes or so. The problem with the for Nuno Mendes. Looks to be his groin. Good treatments already, though. So after that corner kick, he started to walk back into position and just felt something. In 5 years since Lisbon for PSG, those memories are starting to fade away now. Still a long way to go in the Champions League final, but make no mistake, PSG in pole position. Hoisted downfield by Donnarumma. Header won by Acerbi. Looking for Thuram. It's rather skewed backwards, where Mendes will fizz it into midfield for Vitinha. First real sloppy pass from the former Wolves man in the heart of the PSG midfield. Into Milan with a throw in on the right hand side. Denzel Dumfries already with the ball in his hands.
I'm going to ride well here, and I've
towards the corner of the box where Thuram is lurking. And they'll turn this all the way back, or shepherd it rather, to Gianluigi Donnarumma. Hesitated for a moment. He eventually pounces on that before Thuram can get his toe to it. Mendes. That's given away. Çalhanoğlu, Thuram, little back heel for Martinez. Can he get there? No. Across got Marquinhos. And now here's Hakimi. Doué. It's broken down on the halfway. PSG have just gone off the boil in the last few minutes here, and Bastoni will try and make that pay. Forward, Thuram holds it up well, looks to the right-hand side. Space here for Denzel Dumfries. Across comes Nuno Mendes. I'm not sure whether he's fit. In towards the near post. Stabbed away by Marquinhos. Almost showed too much of it to Barella, who'll get a toe to it, but force wide and out towards that corner flag. Barella, Dumfries towards the near post. Thuram was lurking. Away by Pacho again, and Kvaratskhelia picks it up on the left-hand side, level with the edge of the PSG box. Inter Milan getting so much closer now. Dynamic is just shifting here, momentum slightly changing as Doué's heavy touch invites the challenge from Bastoni. Recovers well though, Desiré Doué. And here is Neves for Vitinha, a bit of time and space, and now prods that to Dembele. Paris Saint-Germain have their foot on the ball, none the front foot as well. And here is Kvaratskhelia on the left-hand side, stepping into the edge of the box, lays it off to Ousmane Dembele, a crowd of yellow shirts in front of him as he scoops this towards the opposite corner of the 18-yard box. Doué takes it down, lets Fabian Ruiz take over. Now Hakimi, Ruiz, Hakimi, Ruiz. Doué. Momentum just slowing here for PSG as Hakimi slides that inside to Vitinha. He starts to accelerate away from Lautaro Martinez. Dembele with Vitinha. Kvaratskhelia. Neves for a central position, finds Hakimi on the right-hand side. Back into Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. PSG content to just tick the ball over for the moment. Marquinhos now will stride through the centre circle and lays it off to João Neves. Now Hakimi. Neves to Marquinhos. That's too high for Dembele, and out of play on the far side for an Inter Milan throw-in. It's a performance, the first half performance at least, will go down in PSG history. Will it be the performance though? It remains to be seen. In recent years, of course, they've been one of the dominant forces domestically. With the money and the resources to become almost the immovable objects in Liga. All conquering, but it's been this stage where they've really struggled to stamp their authority on the Champions League and make their mark amongst the old money of European football, your AC Milans, Real Madrids and Barcelonas, PSG, the young upstarts in many eyes, but club steeped in history, if not as successful on this stage. The nerves to come for Paris, as one thing they really cannot afford to do is I think they've beaten Inter Milan already. It's a long night ahead, and Inter Milan, well, they won't give up until that final whistle. They've shown enough in the last few minutes to suggest they can find a route back into the game. Have to find a way to win the ball back here, though, as Marquinhos keeps possession for PSG. Ruiz floats it down the left-hand side. It's Doué on the left flank. 18-yard box, across the face of goal! Dembele! It's away from the near post. From inches off the line. Really tight angle, granted, but a glorious chance. Hasn't gone yet, though. Mendes battling for it. Inter have won it back. And Barella back to Sommer. Sublime ball from Desiree Doué. We've only got a flicker of blue through a crowd of yellow. I know it's been Dembele. Close to a third for Paris Saint-Germain, and surely that would have been done and dusted as Dembele tries to turn that in behind for Hakimi. Federico Di Marco able to clear with his left boot downfield, and now Martinez, a decent touch under pressure from Marquinhos, and lays this off to Denzel Dumfries on the right hand side, but falls backwards as PSG press with Doué on that left hand side ball all the way back to Sommer. Kvaratskhelia will follow. It's given away by Çalhanoğlu. The pressure from Hakimi, who's rushed all the way across to that far side to make sure there's no time and space for Inter. Well, it's the biggest discrepancy in terms of average age between any sides to have contested a Champions League final. Inter Milan stacked with experience, but plenty over the age of 30 in their ranks, whereas some of PSG's most potent players are all pretty precocious. Çalhanoğlu, Serbi in the heart of midfield. Martinez. There'll be 2 minutes of time added on in this first half as Martinez tries to turn away from Pacho. Look to curl it out to the right-hand side for Dumfries. Mendes will intercept. Here come PSG again, and it's Desiree Doué dancing past Lautaro Martinez. Low shot, dribbling across towards the far post. Sommer compelled to act, just withdrew his left arm as that dribbled wide of the far post. Desiree Doué, every time he gets the ball and starts to attack, starts to run at Inter Milan, he's that's given away again. Ruiz, and here is Doué with time and space in midfield. Neves, Hakimi, Dembele. Dembele to Kvaratskhelia. Now Neves. Pacho. Neves does well again. Now Hakimi. Marquinhos. Into midfield for Mendes. Pacho. Floats it out to the left. There's Doué down the touchline here for Kvaratskhelia. Time for another chance. It's Kvaratskhelia. 2 to contend with, stepping onto his right towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Chops to his left. Left-footed effort. Deflection. Out of play. Will there be time for the corner kick? Off the heel of Denzel Dumfries. The last chance of the half will be a corner kick for Paris Saint-Germain in front of some very beleaguered looking Inter Milan supporters. They've seen 2 goals hit the back of that net already in this Champions League final as Dembele winds one up and whips one towards the penalty spot. It's a decent opportunity for Kvaratskhelia, who fires his header over the top of the bar by a pretty narrow margin, and the referee will bring an end to the first half and bring an end to the punishment for those Inter Milan supporters as Simone Inzaghi Really needs to get a reaction from his players in this half-time break. But make no mistake about it, Paris Saint-Germain deserve their lead. They've been scintillating from the word go, on the front foot, pressing in the faces of the Inter Milan defence, and the more experienced Milan team have struggled to cope with the pace, power and commitment of this
They kind of woke up one morning and decided, what if we took all of our money and spent it towards a real footballing project with a good coach, an idea of who we want to be? And it's kind of a terrifying proposition because they have taken a step forward. And it's crazy to say after losing Mbappe to Real Madrid, but Real Madrid got worse. PSG got better. I understand that correlation is not always causation, but that's kind of what we've seen.
You mentioned the attacking players. They're the ones that get the headlines for PSG, drive around the sports cars. But the engine room of this team is in the midfield, and they just get the job done week in, week out, don't they?
Absolutely amazing. When you look at this three, Fabian Ruiz, João Neves, and Vitinha, we can also include Warren Zaire-Emery, who at one point in the season was starting ahead of Fabian Ruiz. But this three is absolutely incredible, and you wouldn't think it's not loaded with a number 6 that's 6'1" and is an incredible physically imposing player. It's Vitinha who controls the game, João Neves who controls the game, Fabian Ruiz who's a terrific complementary piece in that midfield, both for Spain and for PSG. And I think we look at this midfield and we see everything in it. We see contributions in the final third with line-breaking passes. We see pressing moments that allow them to recover the ball and get after their opposition. But I think most of all, the biggest thing that this midfield does is they control the game. It's so difficult in modern football. It's so often where games are won and lost. It's not something that we talk about very much in terms of when we're after the game. We're breaking down the goals. We're breaking down the assist makers. But when you can control a game through the middle, when you come up against this PSG side, you will have moments where it's 45 seconds to a minute without the ball. Then you get it back. Then you lose it again, and it's 45 seconds to a minute without the ball. They just over and over again are controlling the tempo, controlling the rhythm, and making it impossible for you to play. I think that's what this midfield does better than any other in Europe right now. This is the best combination of three that we see, and I think, obviously, the Inter three are fantastic in their own right, but this is different level for me.
Let's talk a bit more about Ousmane Dembélé. He has been absolutely red hot in 2025 so far. We spoke to our French football correspondent, Tom Williams, and asked, is Dembélé the best player in the world right now?
Ousmane Dembélé's performances for Paris Saint-Germain this season have created a real feel-good factor in France. He burst onto the scene nearly 10 years ago as a teenage winger with Rennes and immediately became one of the most popular footballers in the country, a preposterously talented player, but also a bit of a character. It's slightly scatterbrained, the famous interview where he doesn't know whether he's right-footed or left-footed. Popular with all of his teammates, particularly when he's playing with France, close friends with Kylian Mbappe. There's always been a lot of affection towards him in France. But his career has had its ups and downs. A great season at Borussia Dortmund, but he then goes on strike to force through a move to Barcelona, which put a few noses out of joint. Really difficult first few years at Barcelona. Constantly injured, accusations about his timekeeping, his professionalism. Wins the World Cup, of course, with France in 2018, but is dropped after the first game and plays quite a peripheral role, and injuries then prevent him playing a bigger role with France over the years. I think people were happy to see him come home when he joined PSG in 2023. Decent first season, and then suddenly this season he has exploded. There's a feeling that he is finally fulfilling that potential that was first seen in his breakthrough season at Rennes. He's clearly a front runner for the Ballon d'Or, particularly if PSG win the Champions League. And I think if he were to win the Ballon d'Or, that would go down very well with French football fans.
Well, Well, Witty, can a footballer who doesn't know whether he's left-footed or right-footed win the Ballon d'Or? That's the big question. But the numbers he's putting up, especially this calendar year, have been absolutely unbelievable. 48 matches across the season for Dembele, 33 goals, 12 assists, only one less goal than Rafinha, and then Lamine Yamal as well. He scored plenty more goals than that, slightly less in terms of the number of assists, 21 versus 12. I mean, clearly it depends on his performance in the final. If he puts in a match-winning performance, scores a goal, perhaps assists a goal, that will certainly forward his case to be the Ballon d'Or winner. But when you compare him against Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, some of the other great players in European football and world football, you have to make a pretty good case, don't you?
Right. As the star goal scorer in this side, he will get that level of consideration. I think there are better players. Honestly, I would pick either Neves or Vitinha in this midfield as the representative of PSG towards an individual award, understanding that you don't have the statistics to back it up. But what Dembele did, if you measure the period in between the November international window and the March international window, 24 goals in that span of time over basically 4 months. It's absolutely ridiculous. Over the course of the whole season, he's got 33 and has added an element to the game that it was always missing for him. And honestly, I am still a little bit worried about going into this final, because PSG, you go back to the way that they dominated against Liverpool in that first leg. He does eventually get the goal in the second leg, but at times they are missing chances. At times they are not putting away the chances when they are dominating in games, but has obviously gotten huge goals in this Champions League for Paris Saint-Germain, is, I think, in some ways part of the catalyst for the turnaround of this team. You go back to the Manchester City game in the Champions League in the month of December when they moved him into the center of the forward line. I think that opened up a lot of things. And basically, Luis Enrique said, yeah, you know, we've spent 150 million on Kolo Muani and Gonzalo Ramos, but we're going to play without a striker. And he figured out the best way to deploy Dembele up front. He's obviously been a huge part of this team, but I still am worried that the period that we saw where he was brilliant, those 4 months where he scored the 24 goals, represent an anomaly over the course of his career. He has never been a clinical goal scorer. For Borussia Dortmund, for Barcelona, it's one of the many frustrating things about his career. And so I do wonder if, when it comes down to it, in that moment in this final, if he's going to be able to finish off that chance. So there is that little part of me that's worried.
And just quickly as well, I do think credit has to go to Luis Enrique with the work that he's done with Ousmane Dembele, because he was out in the cold, wasn't he, earlier on in the season, left out of the game in the league phase against Arsenal, and now he's one of their best players.
Yeah, and that's the man management that he's done with a few players in this side. We can now basically close our eyes and pick the team, but that wasn't obvious. It wasn't obvious from day one who the best 11 was going to be, because they have depth in almost every position. They have players that are going to come off the bench in this game. You're going to go, wow, Gonzalo Ramos is coming off the bench. Okay, one of that front four is going to have to come off the bench, whether it's Doué or Kvaratskhelia, Barcola or Dembele. One of them is going to have to come off the bench in this game. So you have to do a real job of managing the squad and managing the personalities of a group of players that all think they should be starting and playing.
Winning the Champions League, of course, would undoubtedly be the cherry on the top of the Simone Inzaghi project at Inter Milan. Won the Serie A, of course, 3 times the Supercoppa Italiana and 2 Coppa Italias as well. For more on Inter, let's bring in Marco Messina. Marco, great to see you. I'm sure you're looking forward to this game just as we are. We spoke about the risk there of a trophyless season for Inter Milan. How much do you think that plays into the psychology for Simone Inzaghi going into this game?
Yeah, of course, it's been a big topic, right? And it's not something that Inter fans want to even rationalize or think about, because they have such a magical night that could be tomorrow. I think that it's always met with a balanced approach of understanding the moment and how important that could be. But I think that this is not a young Inter side. It's a very experienced Inter side. It's an Inter side that's been there before. So if there's any club that could deal with that sort of pressure, if there was any team, honestly, in all of Europe that could deal with, all right, we might go trophyless, let's not go into this with a fear approach, it would be Inter, and it would be Simone Inzaghi, simply by the way that they approach finals, how they've done in knockout tournaments, and also by the confidence that they get after knocking out Bayern Munich and then knocking out Barcelona in the way that they did. I think there's something very real about a feeling being that it's their time, it's meant to be for them to win the Champions League.
And I also think, Marco, when we talk about this team, so often it becomes about age, right? This is an older team, average age older than 30. There is that very thin line between old and experience. I think this side usually is on the right side of it. They're experienced. How significant will that experience be in this final, coming up against a PSG side that, while brilliant, is fairly young?
It's the reason why I had Inter beating Barcelona, and it's the reason why I have Inter beating PSG. It's because of that experience. That Barcelona and the PSG, I think they will win Champions League in the future. Phenomenal team, PSG. What they've been able to do from nearly not qualifying out of that league phase, which was very easy for a lot of the big teams to get through, and then where they've gone from here, there's a lot to be said about Luis Enrique's team. But for me, that experience matters. It's it's the small details in Champions League football, in Champions League finals, and that is what I think will get them over the hump. You learn more from your losses than you do anything else, and I think there's a real sense around this Inter side to talk about their experience that this could be the last time as a group, with all of it together, that they could get to a Champions League. They've made 2 finals in the last 3 years. But do we really see Mkhitaryan being part of that squad for such a long time? So I think that there is that sense of, if we don't do it now, when can we do it? And I think that that'll push them over the corner.
Marco, I think it's fair to say we haven't seen the absolute deadly best from Lautaro Martinez and Marcus Thuram in the Champions League, particularly this season for Inter Milan. If they provide that in the final, could that be the critical thing that gets through this PSG defence, those two really on fire?
I would add both of them at the same time, because I think that they've both had moments in their season. There's moments where Lautaro, especially in the beginning of 2025, what he was able to do, Thuram earlier on in the season as well, they haven't hit the top form at the same time. And I think that would be, obviously, without even saying how important that could be. But I think what's so special about this two-man front line, which everybody has said recently, and I reiterate that we don't see a lot of teams play that two-forward system. But the reason why I think it's so important, both of these strikers, they're not selfish strikers. They want the rest of the team to get involved. And that's why Inter was able to beat Barcelona. It was because they, even if they're not involved in the goal scoring, they're the ones who will check in. They're the ones that will allow Dumfries or Di Marco to get in behind and allow Inter to exploit a high defense and use the speed that they have within their squad. And I think nothing said that more than when Thuram was basically on one leg limping around, but he didn't want to get off the pitch, just to show you the desire that he has. And needless to say, Lautaro scored in the Copa America final. He's come up clutch. Marcus Thuram, for me, has always been a big game player. If you think back to his first season at Inter, he scored in both of the derbies against Milan. The first goal that he scored in the 5-1 win was something exceptional. So these are big game players. But the beautiful thing about these strikers is that they care more about the team than just themselves.
Now, on the subject of Lautaro and being on one leg, we haven't seen Lautaro since the second leg against Barcelona, when I think he said this week that he couldn't lift his leg for 2 days after playing that game because of how much he gave and he was carrying an injury. Is there any worries about him and what he can deliver in this final tomorrow?
No, not for me, not at all. And I think Lautaro has shown the connection that he has to this Inter side, and you referenced it. He was crying afterwards, saying that he even sent, I think he showed a screenshot with his family saying that no matter what, I'm going to play in this match. And that just shows you that grit, that spirit that he has, the connection that he has to Inter as a club. And there's a beautiful moment even today on Sky Italia where he's being interviewed, and there's messages from his family that are wishing him best of luck. And he broke down into tears. You know, he's an emotional guy, and he lives with his heart on his sleeve. And I think that while you can look at that as a bad thing in terms of he's not been physically in the best form, but I think that Inter made calculated risks towards the end of the season in moments where they didn't want to push it. They knew the Scudetto would probably be out of reach, so they allowed him to get the recovery that he needed. And from everything that I'm reading, Inter is going to into this final at the best possible. Everybody's going to be available. Everybody will be healthy. And that was my only doubter on this Inter side. The fact that they have a full lineup at their disposal means everything for them.
They kind of woke up one morning and decided, what if we took all of our money and spent it towards a real footballing project with a good coach, an idea of who we want to be? And it's kind of a terrifying proposition because they have taken a step forward. And it's crazy to say after losing Mbappe to Real Madrid, but Real Madrid got worse. PSG got better. I understand that correlation is not always causation, but that's kind of what we've seen.
You mentioned the attacking players. They're the ones that get the headlines for PSG, you know, drive around the sports cars. But the engine room of this team is in the midfield, and they just get the job done week in, week out, don't they?
absolutely amazing. When you look at this three, Fabian Ruiz, João Neves, and Vitinha, we can also include Warren Zaire-Emery, who at one point in the season was starting ahead of Fabian Ruiz. But this three is absolutely incredible, and you wouldn't think it's not loaded with a number 6 that's 6'1" and is an incredible physically imposing player. It's Vitinha who controls the game, João Neves who controls the game, Fabian Ruiz who's a terrific complementary piece in that midfield, both for Spain and for PSG. And I think we look at this midfield and we see everything in it. We see contributions in the final third with line-breaking passes. We see pressing moments that allow them to recover the ball and get after their opposition. But I think most of all, the biggest thing that this midfield does is they control the game. It's so difficult in modern football. It's so often where games are won and lost. It's not something that we talk about very much in terms of when we're after the game. We're breaking down the goals. We're breaking down the assist makers. But when you can control a game through the middle, when you come up against this PSG side, you will have moments where it's 45 seconds to a minute without the ball. Then you get it back. Then you lose it again, and it's 45 seconds to a minute without the ball. They just over and over again are controlling the tempo, controlling the rhythm, and making it impossible for you to play. I think that's what this midfield does better than any other in Europe right now. This is the best combination of three that we see, and I think obviously the Inter three are fantastic in their own right, but this is different level for me.
Let's talk a bit more about Ousmane Dembélé. He has been absolutely red hot in 2025 so far. We spoke to our French football correspondent Tom Williams and asked, is Dembélé the best player in the world right now?
Ousmane Dembélé's performances for Paris Saint-Germain this season have created a real feel-good factor in France. He burst onto the scene nearly 10 years ago as a teenage winger with Rennes and immediately became one of the most popular footballers in the country, a preposterously talented player, but also a bit of a character. Slightly scatterbrained, the famous interview where he doesn't know whether he's right-footed or left-footed, popular with all of his teammates, particularly when he's playing with France, close friends with Kylian Mbappe. There's always been a lot of affection towards him in France. But his career has had its ups and downs. A great season at Borussia Dortmund, but he then goes on strike to fall through a move to Barcelona, which put a few noses out of joint. Really difficult first few years at Barcelona. Constantly injured, accusations about his timekeeping, his professionalism.
2 attempts in the first, very little rhythm in possession too. They did grow into the contest slightly in the latter stages of that first half, but it was only after the second goal again. Haven't really yet shown enough to show they can turn this around, but still 45 minutes left to play in Munich, as that's forward by Barella that picked off in midfield. And the impressive Pacho. He started the second goal. Just through his perseverance, Nicola Barella thought he was going to win himself a corner kick as the ball was being shepherded out of play. Aurelien Pacho nipped in and wrapped his leg round and got a toe to it. And that was where PSG burst forward. And Doué was found for the side that's given them total control so far, but this time Pacho not quite so in control as he lunges in. And Marcus Thuram wins the free kick for Inter Milan down this right-hand side. Well, only 3 teams have ever come back from 2 goals down to win a European Cup final. Real Madrid in 1956, Benfica in 1962, and that unforgettable comeback in Istanbul by Liverpool in 2005. We have to make the most of these kind of situations, Milan. They've been really struggling to keep the ball and generate momentum in open play. And here is Çalhanoğlu with a ball deep towards the back post, but that's over everyone. It'll actually bounce along the byline and just about go to play for a goal kick near the corner flag. And a real waste from the Turkish international. Well, Marcus Thuram showed what he can do in that first half in moments, really, more than anything. But the threat was there. The little and large combination up front for Inter Milan can be so effective if they could find each other, and Thuram has been doing his best to hold the ball up, but so far just unable to get going. Inter Milan's front two. So that's all the way out of play from the goal kick from Donnarumma. And Pavard's going to let Dumfries take this. 40 goals between them in all competitions, Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez. It's their successive season in a row that Lautaro Martinez has scored more than 20 goals, as that's fisted towards the 18-yard box towards Thuram. That's a corner. Hakimi with the header. It's had a play on the far side. As Thuram came so close to taking that down and trying to turn away from William Pacho. This time I think it will be Federico Di Marco to deliver from the left-hand side. It's in towards the near post. Lautaro Martinez appeals for a penalty in there. It's a handball the other way. Simone Inzaghi is convinced, though, in his technical area, that is a PSG hand. We'll have a look at the replay for you. It's come off the midriff of Marquinhos and then flicked up onto the hand of Lautaro Martinez. The initial angle, I can't see any hand involved from the Brazilian veteran, but again, there's that set-piece threat. This time they did get the delivery right and almost caused problems for PSG there. Long from Donnarumma. He was looking for Doué. That's pretty simple for Bastoni, though. Lofted up towards Thuram. Just shrugged off Pacho. He's caught and he stayed down here. Now Kvaratskhelia. Around the outside comes Ruiz. Low across the 18-yard box. Deflection. Kvaratskhelia hammers it over the crossbar from 6 yards. I think he just lost his balance as he pulled the trigger. The angle, the near post is against him. You'd expect him to do a bit better. Dumfries. Mendes steps across his path and Denzel Dumfries will win the free kick he was looking for. Not too many complaints from the PSG fullback. Pavard. Bastoni, that's loose towards Di Marco. And they won themselves a free kick again on the opposite position now. Inter Milan, a couple of steps away from the halfway line. And it's just sense now that Inter are trying to ruffle a few feathers at the very least. Sommer. It's given straight to Mendes on the halfway line under pressure from Dembele. Dembele was the goalkeeper. Here's Ruiz, turns and drives, and now Dembele, left-hand side of the 18-yard box, tried to whip one across the face of goal. That's wide of the far post. And too far away from Kvaratskhelia. Still, not much in terms of signs of life from an Inter Milan perspective. Slight delay to proceedings as the Paris Saint-Germain ultras wanted to keep the ball. You can understand that. They're side leading by 2 goals to 0 in the Champions League final. A wonderful souvenir, wouldn't it? Slipped over the top. Di Marco looking for Thuram, too far away from him. It's Pacho. They'll turn it back to the goalkeeper, Donnarumma. Touch on his 6-yard line and then out of his feet and downfield towards Hakimi. First touch with his chest, second to take it away from Di Marco, third to go to ground as Di Marco went snapping in with a challenge and concedes the free kick on that far side. Well, there's going to be 2 changes here now for Inter. It's Nikola Zalewski and Jan Bisek, the 24-year-old German defender. Dumfries, has he drawn the foul? He has. A little shove out from Kvaratskhelia. Starting to accrue these niggly fouls now into Milan. In hindsight, they probably were a little bit naive in that first half. Well, here come the changes. It's Benjamin Pavard, a straight swap with the German Jan Bisek. And it's Federico Di Marco, who's had a Champions League final to forget. He'll be replaced by the Polish winger Nikola Zalewski. Floated into the 18-yard box and are coming together between Marquinhos and Donnarumma. Acerbi was the player challenging for Inter, and he's hurt himself here, the Italian. Oh, a shake of the head from Federico Di Marco as he takes his seat on the Inter Milan bench. A tough night at the office. He can look a little bit uncomfortable from crosses. Gianluigi Donnarumma struggled to exert his authority. Delivery will be Çalhanoğlu from the left-hand side, whipped into the 6-yard box, and again Donnarumma pulls it away, driven towards goal by Barella from the edge of the box. Well blocked in the air in the end by Marquinhos. Sommer. Mkhitaryan. Çalhanoğlu scoops it forward. Acerbi has stayed forward. Marquinhos getting across and volleys that high into the Munich sky, and Mkhitaryan underneath it, nods that forward. That's been given away. Vitinha on the halfway line, and Bissek will get there before Dembele. Back to the goalkeeper. Sommer touches out of his feet. Dembele arriving at a rate of knots as that's floated up to the halfway line. It's a loose header from Barella, but he's got a toe to it, second time of asking, towards Martinez, then back into the path of Nicola Barella. Now Zalewski, the substitute, onto his right. Delayed the shot, got rid of the ball, and then caught his man in the follow-through, and a yellow card to the substitute. It's João Neves who got in the way in the end and bore the brunt. He got in the way for once, and then again out came Fabian Ruiz. On the studs of young Paul. Catch Fabian Ruiz on the top of his boot. He's only just come on and he's already been shown a yellow card. Shaping up to be one of those nights for Inter Milan. We'll restart with a free kick, which is going to be taken by Gianluigi Donnarumma. 6 yards outside his 18-yard box as he hammers this downfield. Bissek with his head to it. Kvaratskhelia, the intended target. Out of play, throw in on the near side will be PSG's. Luis Enrique, very animated in his technical area. We pleased though. Under the surface, he'll be pretty pleased with what Paris have produced. Doué, Ruiz, now Vitinha. It's been very impressive tonight, Vitinha. Really the heartbeat of this PSG side. Just keeps the ball moving and ensures that there is no respite for their opponents as that slips in towards the edge of the 18-yard box with Doué. Scooped clear by Donnarumma. Martinez backing in, and then Thuram turns and draws a foul from Pacho. That's a free kick for Inter on the halfway line, and a couple of raised eyebrows as well. I think that should be a yellow card, I think, some of the Inter players. Well, the referee's been called over to the technical area, and there will be a yellow card for Simone Inzaghi. He couldn't believe it. I think the question that we were asking, whether William Pacho should have received a yellow card for that. The referee is let him get away with this one. But Inter with the set piece, taken short by Çalhanoğlu. Zalewski, challenged by Doué. Inter with the throw-in. Another opportunity to launch this long into the PSG box. Alessandro Bastoni can get some distance on these as he winds one up. Heaved in towards the corner of the 6-yard box. Will drop to Barella on the edge of the 18-yard box, who flicked it up and tried the spectacular. But only succeeds in putting that into the Inter Milan supporters behind Gianluigi Donnarumma's goal. And now PSG will start to annoy and frustrate as they take as much time as possible over these set pieces. Donnarumma is given to Barella. Fizz towards Martinez, looking to help it on towards Thuram. Marquinhos interferes defensively for PSG. Now Barella on the right-hand side will take the throw-in. Or will he wait for support? No, he's going to toss it into support instead. Bisek. Driving through the centre circle towards the left-hand side. It's still going Bisek. Kvaratskhelia and Bisek lost his balance. Çalhanoğlu will win it back. Bisek's down in PSG territory. Çalhanoğlu deflection on the cross. Donnarumma at the near post. Takes it away from Lautaro Martinez. But a problem for Bisek. He's clutching at his hamstring. What luck this is. If Jan Bisek has just pulled up here, he's only been on the pitch for all of, what, 4 or 5 minutes? That's awkward. His knees locked as he's lost his balance, tumbling away from that enterprising foray forward. He's been introduced to try and shore them up a bit defensively and inject a bit of energy into their build-up. He's now hobbling towards the touchline, holding his right hamstring, the back of his right leg here. No, it feels like the end of the season here. It's a showpiece final, a way to wrap up this 2024-2025 season. But don't forget, the Club World Cup is just around the corner. For a small match of the Champions League final to settle first. It's Hakimi bursting through, Dembele with the ball, across the face of goal, and narrowly wide. Hakimi absolutely flying down that right-hand side. PSG again. Desiree Doué with a pirouette to slip it down the line and find Hakimi. Dembele involved in the build-up as well. Inter just about clinging on to hope it will be a corner kick. Mendes, corner to the edge of the box. Bit of time for Vitinha, opens his body up, floats one, deep towards the back post, backpedaling towards it. Kvaratskhelia, Kvaratskhelia, a little bit too much on it from Vitinha. 2 more changes now for Inter. Carlos Augusto is going to come on. Mkhitaryan will be withdrawn. I think Jan Bisek, who was the substitute himself, is going to have to hobble off too. It's horrible, really unfortunate for him. And confirmation, yes, Jan Bisek off. He's distraught, he's in tears as he wanders around the outside of the pitch. He's going to be replaced by Matteo Darmian. Offside flag's been raised by the assistant. Free kick now for Paris Saint-Germain. Augusto's gone across to the left. Zalewski's, I think, gone into a more central area. Perhaps a change of shape here from Simone Inzaghi. 17 attempts now for PSG. 5 on target. Well, that's lovely from Dembele to feed Vitinha. And now into Doué for the third! Oh, there it is! Buries it past Summit! Desiree Doué has announced himself on the grandest stage of all. PSG heading for European glory for the first time in their history. And they're being carried to a piece of history by a 19-year-old from their academy. one of their own breaks Milan hearts. And Munich is set to crown yet another first-time winner of the European Cup. PSG have made no apologies this evening for playing their brand of football, and what a brand of football it is. It's reminiscent of the Barcelona, the glory years. A yellow card for Doué for removing his shirt in his celebrations, but he won't care a jot. It's been his final. An assist for the first, and 2 goals now. It is 5th in the Champions League this season. And PSG now a bit more than 20 minutes away from a moment that I'm sure that even the longest suffering PSG supporters thought may never have come. Dumfries tries to dance away from Mendes. Kvaratskhelia will win it back for Paris Saint-Germain. A risk of this getting embarrassing now for Inter. Picked up by Acerbi, picked up on the halfway line now by Zalewski. Right hand side, Darmian towards Denzel Dumfries. When he catches up with that, well, he had a man running across his back. It was João Neves, maybe a tangle of legs. From the word go, it's looked PSG's evening. With the Poznan performed by the PSG ultras. And Desiree Doué will soak up the applause and the ovation that he so rightly deserves after a fantastic showing. They don't come any bigger than this. The only question before the game really was, would PSG start with Doué or start with Barcola after his exploits in the Coupe de France? Well, Desiree Doué has taken his leave and been replaced by Bradley Barcola as Inter Milan, 2 going through the same ball at the front post, and there was an opportunity there as well for Inter Milan to just try and find something from which to build a comeback, but again, as it has been for so much of this evening for Inter, just didn't work out. Donnarumma, long to Kvaratskhelia, taken off of his toe by Barella, into the centre circle. And Barella. Acerbi. It's a long ball pumped towards the PSG 18-yard box. Struggled to think of more dominant performances in the Champions League final. Have to go back maybe to the Barcelona side that brushed aside Manchester United at Wembley all those years ago. They've not put a foot wrong tonight, Paris Saint-Germain. Long towards Thuram. The offside flag goes up against the young Frenchman. Reality setting in amongst the Inter Milan supporters. We'll be back in the competition next season. Second in Serie A. Another historic season for Napoli. Here's Vitinha, back to Marquinhos. 22 minutes of football plus stoppage time left to play. But the life has absolutely been sucked out of Inter Milan and their hordes of travelling supporters tonight in Munich. Ruiz sliding into Ram, and has caught Ruiz there. The referee's going to blow the whistle and reach into his pocket. A yellow card for Marcus Thuram. And it feels like everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong for Inter Milan tonight. Right across to the right-hand side. And they're in behind again, and it's Bradley Barcola stepping into the 18-yard box. Across comes Mendes! He lets it run, tried the little back heel. Did make contact, chance hasn't gone though. Ruiz keeps it alive on left-hand side. Floats it into the 18-yard box. Will drop to Barcola. Hammers that from a tight angle over the crossbar. And it stays at 3. 21 goals in all competitions this season for Bradley Barcola. That was almost number 22. Just let down by the first touch, I think. It just took him slightly wider than he wanted to. Meant he had to stretch when he hammered that towards goal, and it's just over the crossbar as Inter Milan make a further change. Hakan Çalhanoğlu is going to be withdrawn, and it's Christian Aslani, the Albanian international, that'll come on. The 23-year-old for his 35th appearance of the season. The majority of those have come from the bench. He's only started 16 games for Inter Milan, but it's been important. It's a vital moment. I'm sure he's going to add too much creative threat, but maybe free up a couple of other Milan midfielders to do so. Here is one of them. Zalewski can't get a toe to it. Here's Ruiz, and now Neves. Kvaratskhelia turns that into the path of Fabian Ruiz. But Bastoni will get there first. The whistle. And they're going to put it back and give PSG the free kick. Acerbi will be shown the yellow card for a challenge on the halfway line. I'll admit I didn't see the advantage, but it will be pulled back, and PSG again maintain possession and contain their iron grip that they have on this game. Vitinha. Now Neves just outside the centre circle. Hakimi to Pacho. Now Marquinhos. Neves. Kvaratskhelia. Bit of space in behind Dumfries. Sharp defending though from Darmian. And now Inter will try and set something up on the counter-attack. Martinez taken off of his feet by Neves. Referee will allow the free kick to be taken quickly, even though that came off of a William Pacho. Sprayed out to the left-hand side. Is it kept in play? Well, he had to stretch Aslani, but it's picked up by Paris. Fabian Ruiz. Hakimi. Ruiz again. Now Marquinhos. Mendes. Laid off by Dembele. One back again though, as Dumfries threatens to burst forward. And now that's in behind, it's Dembele into the path of Kvaratskhelia. Bearing down on goal. Kvaratskhelia makes it 4! PSG are 18 minutes away now from becoming the 24th team to etch their name onto that famous trophy. A team that once featured the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Neymar. A team that was once a constellation of stars, but not a collection. On the Luis Enrique, they've become the European powerhouses they've always threatened and always dreamed of being. And once again, it's precision from back to front for PSG. They lost the ball. Remember, they lost the ball, but it was won back and swiftly played forward. The timing of the run from Kvaratskhelia to the left-hand inside channel was absolutely spot on. The flag stayed down. Inter Milan once again tonight chasing back towards their own goal. Kvaratskhelia took it with his left, tucked it past Sommer, and ensured that the Georgian's name will go down in history amongst the rest of his teammates tonight in PSG folklore and European folklore. What a year it's been for making history, for lifting silverware against all the odds. Inter Milan torn to shreds tonight. A huge statement from Paris Saint-Germain. Europe will sit up and take notice. The traditional power bases, the Manchester United, that now Manchester City over recent years, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, the Italian giants tonight, Inter Milan, three-time winners of this competition. Brushed aside by a team that have come so close. And the scariest thing tonight as well, we'll get back to that shortly, is Barella. Chops on the edge of the 18-yard box. Pacho, did he take him down? No, said the referee. Still an opportunity. Saved at the near post by Donnarumma. First time he's really been called into action. He's kept his concentration all the way to the 75th minute and preserves his clean sheet. Thuram. First shot in anger. First time he's got his shirt dirty, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Far too little, far too late. As it stands, well, this is equal with the biggest winning margin in this competition in a final. Inter Milan will be aware of that. PSG will be aware of it too, and they'll be looking to make that record their own. Fizzed all the way into the 18-yard box. That's taken a deflection off João Neves on the way through. There are tears inside the stadium in Milan and around the world. A humbling night in Munich. Can they show some defiance? Fizzed in towards the near post. Was away by in by Aslani. Donnarumma will try and prevent that going out of play for a corner. Denzel Dumfries did just about enough. Aslani again. Deep towards the back post, Donnarumma. Pretty comfortable as he plucks that out of the sky. Still barracking his defenders, bellowing at Nuno Mendes as he bowls it towards the young Portuguese fullback. That's not his best pass. Given away in the centre circle. Darmian getting forward, now in midfield with Barella. Dumfries. Darmian in.
Get that clear. Mkhitaryan. Çalhanoğlu. Mkhitaryan. He wasn't very far from making something happen by himself. Lovely to see.
That needed to end with efficiency and incision, and we got neither.
That's a throw. Oh, that's clearly not what he wanted to do. Needs to locate someone up front. Çalhanoğlu. That is as far as they're going to go. Pavard. Now surely. Needs to get it forward quickly. Floats one over. Calhanoglu. Across the field it goes. Really good feet. And it's Mkhitaryan. Incoming cross. Knocks it away. Fabian Ruiz. Dembele sends it forward. Mkhitaryan. Calhanoglu. Calhanoglu. Mkhitaryan. Acerbi. Laid back in, and the weighted pass. Fabian Ruiz hoists it forward. Well played, he saw that coming. Mkhitaryan. Calhanoglu, and it's played forward. Tries to get it clear. And it's Calhanoglu. Calhanoglu. That is terrific skill. On the right now, what's on? Goes for the cross. Header! Oh, we couldn't get it. Marquinhos goes looking. Fabian Ruiz. Good take, and he's had a look. Forward it goes. Knocks it away. Mkhitaryan pumps it into the area. Calhanoglu. Hakimi gets it back. Dembele. Martinez plays it forward. Fabian Ruiz. Hoists it high. Acerbi with the clearance. Mkhitaryan. Driving on, he could shoot here. What a ball this has turned out to be. Dembele looks to bypass the midfield. Hakimi. Defending of the desperate variety. It's Çalhanoğlu. It's it into the middle. Knocks it away. It's good distance on it. Acerbi drives it forward. Mkhitaryan. Out to the left it goes. With a delicate ball. And he's there to clear it. Hakimi. Hoists it forward. Martinez. Well, the crowd clearly like what they just saw. Some real no-nonsense defending. And it's played forward. Get the better of his opposite number. Oh, that's nice. And it's Çalhanoğlu. Just brushed off the ball there. He is not one readily to admit defeat. Don't be surprised if he tries that again. Acerbi positions himself well and cuts it out. Forward it goes. Tries to get it forward quickly. With the cross-field ball. And the shot! Straight at the keeper.
Well, from a good position, the keeper really ought to have had to work hard.
Marquinhos. Takes aim with a cross. Mkhitaryan attempts a clearance. Mkhitaryan goes looking. Martinez. Fabian Ruiz. Will be a throw-in. One in. Last-ditch defending, but that'll do. Throw it. Fabian Ruiz. Oh, really good feet from him. Hits one!
Hakimi weighed up the options and picked the wrong one.
Fabian Ruiz. Mkhitaryan. It's timed to perfection. It's a very good battle there, terrific to watch. He's picked him out, timely intervention. Keeper's got good distance on that. Fabian Ruiz. And it's Marquinhos. Keeps everyone guessing. Looks to set one up. Play for a throw. Marquinhos. Ball's loose, who's getting there? Hakimi. Out to the right. Cross deflected behind for a corner. Good clearance and very necessary. Hoists it forward. Has a hit! Acerbi. Plays it out to the flank. Calhanoglu. And it's Mkhitaryan. Has a pop! Fabian Ruiz. Help's available out wide. Oh, that is lovely footwork. Aimed in towards the centre. Needed a better pass there. Fabian Ruiz pings it out wide. Dembele, and the shot! Calhanoglu attempts a clearance. Martinez. Calhanoglu. Nice touch. A chance to play it in. Massive leap! Well to get his head on that. Couldn't score.
I have to commend the wing play, but I have to condemn the defending. They've got to stop the cross.
And it's played forward. It's a decent looking cross. And he's there to clear it. Marquinhos. The ball's come loose and the chase is on. It's Mkhitaryan. Looks to clip it forward. Ball's gone out of play. More than happy to take the muscular approach. Doesn't get the pass he's looking for. Ball's loose, who's getting there? Mkhitaryan. And out to safety. Mkhitaryan. Plenty waiting in the middle. Up to meet it! The header, but again the same outcome.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the service. They've just been very wasteful in the air. Yeah, that's top defending and preventing him turning, which can open up many possibilities.
Martinez. Calhanoglu gets it out to the wing. Chance! gone a long way up and away. It's a good run down the right. Where could this lead? And that has been clubbed away. Calhanoglu. Forward it goes. Fabian Ruiz. Hakimi. Hoists it forward. Well played, he saw that coming. Calhanoglu. And it's Mkhitaryan. Marquinhos. Fabian Ruiz. It's been intercepted, and that will come to nothing. Calhanoglu. Mkhitaryan goes looking. Fabian Ruiz. Hakimi. Forward it goes. The ball needed to be better there. It's a wasted chance. Get that clear. Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan. Calhanoglu. Mkhitaryan. He wasn't very far from making something happen by himself. Lovely to see.
That needed to end with efficiency and incision, and we got neither.
That's a throw. Oh, that's clearly not what he wanted to do. Needs to locate someone up front. Calhanoglu. That is as far as they're going to go. Pavard. Now surely. Needs to get it forward quickly. Floats one over. Calhanoglu. Across the field it goes. Really good feet. And it's Mkhitaryan. Incoming cross. Knocks it away. Fabian Ruiz. Dembele sends it forward. Mkhitaryan. Calhanoglu. Calhanoglu. Mkhitaryan. Serbi laid back in, and the weighted pass. Fabian Ruiz hoists it forward. Well played, he saw that coming. Mkhitaryan. Calhanoglu, and it's played forward. Tries to get it clear. And it's Calhanoglu. Calhanoglu. That is terrific skill. On the right now, what's on? Goes for the cross. Header! No, we couldn't get the... Marquinhos goes looking. Fabian Ruiz. Good take, and he's had a look. Forward it goes. Knocks it away. Mkhitaryan pumps it into the area. Calhanoglu. Hakimi gets it back. Dembele. Martinez plays it forward. Fabian Ruiz hoists it high. Serbi with the clearance. Mkhitaryan driving on, he could shoot here. What a ball this has turned out to be. Dembele looks to bypass the midfield. Hakimi. Quickly, defending of the desperate variety. It's Calhanoglu. It's it into the middle, knocks it away. Gets good distance on it. Serbi drives it forward. Mkhitaryan. Out to the left it goes. With a delicate ball. And he's there to clear it. Hakimi. Hoists it forward. Martinez. Clearly like what they just saw some real no-nonsense defending.